You have been doing everything right. You cut the carbs, you tracked every calorie. You spent hours on the treadmill until you were too exhausted to take another step. Logic says the weight should be falling off. The math says you are in a calorie deficit. But when you look in the mirror, that stubborn layer around your midsection hasn't budged an inch. In fact, it might look softer, more inflamed, and more permanent than ever before. There is a biological reason for this, and it has nothing to do with your discipline or your willpower. It is not about eating less and moving more. You are fighting a war against a hidden survival mechanism, one that is actively overriding your diet. While you are trying to burn fat, your body is receiving a chemical signal to hoard it. This signal keeps insulin sky high, even if you are eating zero sugar. It makes your liver produce its own glucose, even if you are eating perfectly clean. The harder you try the old way, the worse it gets. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why that belly fat is sticking. And more importantly, how to flip the switch that forces your body to finally use that stored fat as fuel. First, let's talk about what visceral fat actually is. It is not the same as the soft fat on your hips or thighs. Visceral fat sits deep inside your belly. It wraps around your organs. And research shows it is biologically different from fat anywhere else on your body. It is packed with cortisol receptors. Think of these like high-sensitivity antennas. While fat in other parts of your body ignores a mild stress signal, your belly fat catches it, amplifies it, and reacts to it immediately. Here is where it gets really unfair. As visceral fat grows, it releases its own inflammatory signals. Those signals trigger more cortisol, and more cortisol grows more visceral fat. It becomes a loop with no natural off switch. The fat itself recruits more stress hormones to keep itself alive. It feeds on the very thing that is making you miserable. This is why someone can eat very little and still carry weight in their midsection. It is not laziness. It is a body in full crisis mode. When cortisol stays high for too long, your body enters preservation mode. It thinks you are in a famine. It thinks danger is near. And the last thing it wants to do in that state is burn off its emergency reserves. So it locks them away, right there in your belly. Now here's the part most people never hear. You might be thinking, I eat clean, I barely touch sugar, my insulin should be low. This is where it gets both fascinating and frustrating. You can eat nothing but steak and water, and your blood sugar can still spike. Here's why. Your liver is an incredible chemical factory. When cortisol surges, it sends a command to the liver. We need energy, now. The liver responds by manufacturing its own glucose. It pulls it from amino acids and other tissues, then dumps it straight into your bloodstream. This process is called gluconeogenesis. It literally means creating new sugar. And it happens no matter how clean you are eating. So here is what your morning might actually look like. You wake up. You have not eaten since dinner, but you are already stressed. Your mind is running. Your cortisol climbs. Your liver dumps fresh glucose into your blood. Your pancreas senses that sugar and releases insulin to deal with it. Now you have high cortisol and high insulin at the same time, while fasting. Insulin is the switch that turns off fat burning. When it is high, fat burning stops completely. You are locked out. Your body is running on sugar it made itself, and your fat stores are sealed shut. This is not your fault. This is a survival mechanism. But it is being triggered not by food, but by stress. Now come to the solutions. This hormonal chaos usually comes from 3 specific habits. They all look healthy on the surface, but underneath they are making things much worse. The first trap is chronic cardio. We have been told for decades, move more to lose weight. So people jog for an hour. They spend 45 minutes on the elliptical every morning. They show up to every cardio class. But here is what is happening biologically. When you do moderate intensity cardio for a long time, day after day, your body reads it as a low-grade emergency. Cortisol rises to keep you going. If you do this every day without enough recovery, that cortisol never comes back down. What happens next is the cruel part. Cortisol breaks down muscle to use as fuel. As you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. You burn fewer calories at rest. And at the same time, that elevated cortisol pushes fat storage straight to your belly. You are burning your engine to stockpile more fuel. The scale might drop a little, but your body composition quietly gets worse. You get smaller, softer, and metabolically slower. The second trap is aggressive fasting while stressed. Fasting done right is genuinely powerful. It gives your body a chance to clean up, repair, and reset. But the key phrase there is, done right. When you layer aggressive fasting on top of chronic stress and poor sleep, it stops being a healing tool. It becomes another stressor. If you are sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, under constant pressure, and then forcing your body to go 18 to 20 hours without food, you are not helping your body. You are pushing it past its limit. Your body reads that fast as confirmation. The famine is real. So your thyroid slows down, your energy drops, your hands and feet get cold, and your body grips that belly fat even tighter. The goal of fasting is to lower insulin. But if the stress of fasting raises cortisol enough to trigger that liver glucose dump, the benefit is gone. You are just starving while stressed. The third trap is broken sleep, and this one is the sneakiest of all. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but are you actually recovering? Here is a pattern many people know well. You fall asleep exhausted. Then at 2 or 3 in the morning, your eyes snap open. You are not groggy, you are wide awake, heart slightly racing, mind already running. You lie there for an hour before drifting back off, just before your alarm goes off. This is not just bad sleep. This is a metabolic event. Here is what is actually happening. While you sleep, your blood sugar naturally drops. If your stress is high or your metabolism is struggling, it drops too fast. Your brain senses a fuel shortage and hits the panic button. Your adrenal glands fire off a shot of adrenaline and cortisol to wake the liver up and dump glucose. That adrenaline is what wakes you up at 3 a.m. You are having a stress response in the middle of your sleep, in your own bed, while nothing is wrong. And the damage is double. First, you miss the deep sleep stages where growth hormone is released. Growth hormone is your primary fat-burning and repair hormone. Second, you spend your night in a flood of cortisol and insulin. So you wake up puffy, foggy, and with your belly fat storage switched on high. So how do you break out of this? Here's how you do that. Solution 1, walk after your meals. Instead of long cardio sessions, take a brisk 10 to 15-minute walk right after you eat. Every meal, if you can. Here's the science behind it. When you eat, your blood sugar rises. Normally, your pancreas has to release a big wave of insulin to bring it back down. But when your muscles are moving, they have a separate pathway. They can pull sugar directly out of your blood without needing insulin at all. So a short walk after eating mechanically lowers your blood sugar. It reduces the insulin spike. It eases post-meal cortisol, and it keeps your fat-burning environment intact, all from a 10-minute walk. Solution 2, a small anchor before bed. If you are waking up at 3 a.m., the goal is to stop that blood sugar crash before it happens. The protocol is simple. A small teaspoon of raw honey and a pinch of sea salt right before sleep. That is it. The honey gives your liver just enough glycogen to get through the night without panicking. The salt helps keep adrenaline calm and fluid balanced. No crash means no cortisol spike. No cortisol spike means you stay asleep. And when you stay in deep sleep, growth hormone does its job. Cortisol drops to its lowest point of the day. Fat is mobilized. Tissue is repaired. You wake up actually restored. Solution 3, short bursts of intense effort. Once or twice a week, do something all out for a very short time. 15 seconds up a hill, 20 seconds on a bike at full effort. Then rest completely. That is it. Do not do this every day, just once or twice. This kind of training sends a very specific signal. It triggers a massive release of growth hormone. Some studies show increases of up to 400%. Growth hormone is the direct antidote to cortisol. It builds muscle and burns visceral fat. 2 short, intense sessions a week will do more for your hormones than 5 long cardio sessions. Less time, less stress, better results. Solution 4. Prioritize protein when you eat. If you are fasting, your eating window has to count. When you open that window, protein comes first. Protein triggers glucagon. That is the hormone that directly opposes insulin. It signals to your body that fuel is available, that it is safe to build muscle, that it is safe to release fat. A simple target. Aim for close to 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. If you cannot hit that number in your current eating window, shorten the fast. Widen the window. Get the protein in first. A long fast followed by a tiny meal is not intermittent fasting. It is just starvation spread out across the day. Solution 5. 60 seconds of real gratitude. This one sounds too simple, but the biology behind it is real. Cortisol's direct opposite in the body is oxytocin. When oxytocin goes up, cortisol is forced down. They cannot both be high at the same time. You can raise oxytocin on purpose. Take 60 seconds, before a meal or before bed, and genuinely feel appreciation for something. Not just think it, feel it. Something specific. The coffee in your hand, a person you love, a moment from your day. Seconds. No cost, no equipment. One of the most powerful resets available to you. So here is the full picture. This is not a calorie problem. It is a hormonal problem. Your belly fat is not stubborn. It is a symptom of a body that has been running on high alert for too long. Stop the chronic cardio that is draining you. Replace it with short, intense sessions and post-meal walks. Stop the aggressive fasting on an empty, stressed system. Replace it with a protein-rich eating window that signals safety. Protect your sleep with a simple nightly anchor. And interrupt the cortisol loop every single day with 60 seconds of genuine gratitude. When the body receives those signals consistently, something changes. The alarm quiets. The fat reserves, no longer needed as a survival buffer, begin to release. Energy comes back. The puffiness fades. The brain fog lifts. And that stubborn belly fat? It finally starts to go. This is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things. The things that tell your body the emergency is over. It is safe to let go. And when it does, everything changes. I will see you in the next video.